everyone. Today I am returning to both a band and a song that I have previously listened to, that is Dire Straits' Sultans of Swing. But this time, it is going to be the Alchemy live version from 1983, which I understand is a pretty highly regarded performance of it. And so I'm really looking forward to this. And let's just dive in and see what we hear.
Getting a shiver in the dark, it's raining in the park the main time. Sound of the river, you stone your whole everything, come on down. Man is going Dixie double fountain. Yeah, you feel alright when you hear the music, man. Yeah. Well, now you're sitting inside, but you don't see too many faces. Coming in out of the rain, they hear the jazz go down. Competition, too many other places. Yeah, but the horns, they're blowing that sound, they're blowing.
So,
way on down.
I don't know if this is actually faster than the album version. It might be, but it feels like it's a much more energetic rendition of it. It feels like it's really pushing the energy from, especially from the bass and percussion section, but also in the guitar and voice. I mean, everything feels like it's much more, energy is the word. Energized, dynamic, I might even say upbeat, interestingly. Although I never really thought of this as being an upbeat song.
Way on down south, London town. Check it out, Guitar George. Now he knows all them fancy chords. Ain't just rhythm gonna make that guitar cry and make it sing. Send an old guitar and just all he can afford. When he gets up under them colored lights, gonna play that thing. And Hammy doesn't mind if he doesn't make that fancy scene.
Even though this is a live performance, so obviously it doesn't have the luxuries of a studio recording. I think it has to do with the pacing and the energy element of this performance, where I feel like the guitar responses to the lyrical lines are more conversational, meaning when he sings mind, he's strictly rhythm. He doesn't want to make it cry or sing. But then the guitar comes in and it's crying and it's singing. And an old guitar is all he can afford when he gets up under the lights to play his thing. And then the guitar answers and does its thing. It's as if it is, somehow I feel like this performance kind of makes it more vibrant in the interaction between the voice and the answering guitar.
Way on down south, London town.
Nice drums there. Okay, notice what happens here.
Check it out, Guitar George. Now he knows all them fancy chords.
Oh, he's dressing up the lyrics, all the fancy
rhythm
chords.
gonna make that guitar cry and make it sing.
The guitar cry or make it sing.
Send an old guitar and doesn't mind if he doesn't make that fancy scene. Got daytime job, you're doing quite alright, thank you very much. Do the honky tonk just like anything. Sailing in a foggy Friday night with the Sultans. Yeah, with the Sultans of swing. Alright. Send a crowd of boys, they're just fooling around in the corner.
See, the drums feel more present, I don't think it's just because I can visually see the drummer. Because even here, where it's focusing on guitar again and singer, the drums are there more assertively. I don't want to turn this into just a comparison between the album and this live, but these are things that stand out to me and really impact the overall experience of hearing and feeling the piece of music. And of course, it's the same song. I hear that he's kind of embellishing or improving or simply just treating the lyrics freely. He adds a few things here. He might skip a word there. Maybe it has developed over time as he has continued to perform this piece. Often composers do revise their work on an ongoing basis. So that doesn't surprise me at all. And every performance is different. So it doesn't surprise me that the album version is different than this, energy-wise, all of that. But I am enjoying these differences. It gives the piece a different, it gives it a different effect, a different impact. And it's one of the reasons that while, of course, listening to a single recorded version of the piece is very comfortable and comforting to us because we become very attached to a very specific performance. So also, it's good to remember that music is a living, breathing thing, and it's only alive as long as it is living and breathing. And the live performance element, especially as a classical musician from the classical background that I come from, this idea of having a performance of a piece of music preserved in the context of classical music is incredibly new, right? Because we only got that ability, a little over 100 years ago. Whereas this musical tradition has been in existence for centuries, and that is why we rely more on written notation as a way of preserving the general idea of something. But that is also why we, as classical musicians, put so much emphasis on performance and interpretation and the ability to bring a piece to life off of the simple paper and ink that we have in front of us. And that is why we can listen to so many different performances and even recordings of, let's say, something really, really popular, like the Bach Brandenburg Concerti. How many times can you perform that and have something new? Every single time. Because the moment you don't have it come alive fresh, it's no longer music. And so here I'm loving noticing and feeling and hearing this and feeling how the music feels alive. It's not just a recitation. It's not something that just happened once perfectly in the studio. They got it to come out exactly how they want. And then they take it on the road and perform it. But it never quite has that spark again. No. This has the same spark, or at least it has the same level of vitality. Although I might say it's a different spark because it is its own thing. It is its own musical expression in this moment, in this performance. And I love how strongly that comes across.
Send a crowd of boys, they just fooling around in the corner. Drunken dress their baggies and their best King's Road. Don't give a damn about any trumpet playing man, 'cause it ain't what they callin' it rock and roll. The Sultans, oh yeah, the Sultans play Creole.
I also love how incredibly in sync, how tight they are as a band. I think this is one of the things that I noticed the first time I ever listened to Dire Straits. I remember noticing how, well, probably the strongest thing that stood out to me then, it's been a long time now. Dire Straits is one of the first bands I listened to. And the first song was Brothers in Arms. In fact, if you haven't seen that, you should check it out here. But I really, the thing that really stood out to me then was how incredibly coordinated and equal Mark's singing and guitar playing was. It was as if they were two different characters contributing to the and I went into that in the first listen and the in-depth that followed. So do check it out if you haven't heard it. However, another thing that I think I remember I commented on was how incredibly well together and well formed the band was as a unit. And I can't help but notice the same thing here. Of course, this is a live performance. And so you see a bit of choreography happening between them. But it's more than just that. It's not just a visual thing. It's as if their choreography is simply a manifestation of the flow between them as a band, the way they pass the torch from one to the next, the way they work and simply know and feel how to step back, how to step forward, how to take the spotlight, how to step aside, and it is so incredibly seamless. I'm not talking only about the visual experience of seeing them moving about on stage here, but I'm also, and even more so, talking about that experience in the music itself. It is a wondrous thing to experience, to recognize. It's a thing of beauty. And as a performer, it's something that I deeply appreciate as well from just the skill level that it takes to become so cohesive, so much one, that they are no longer separate individuals working together, but suddenly they are a single entity, a single creature, a single, well, as I said about the music, it's a living, breathing thing. And they have one mind, one nervous system, and everything just flows out of that incredibly deep, fluid, and instantaneous connection between each of them. And of course, Mark is taking the lead here, of course, because he's singing and playing. But so you could say he's the head, he's the command center. But at the same time, it's not like they're just all sitting there waiting for his direction, and then they respond and say, yes, sir, we'll go do that now. No. The connection is so much closer and so much more organic. And I love this experience. As I said, both from just the way it affects the musical listening experience, as well as from the side of, oh yeah, I recognize it as a performer, as an ensemble player. It's incredible. Nice control there. I'm taking it. So beautifully fluid.
Then a man, he just a step right up to the microphone. He says at last, this is the time bell rings. Then you good night, now it's time to go home. Then you make it fast with just one more thing. We are the Sultans. Yeah, we are the Sultans on the swing. That's right.
Again. Okay, what he's doing on his guitar. So, I mentioned earlier, this performance and this recording, the way the sound comes across, makes the percussion much more prominent, serve a more prominent role in the music and in the band than some of the other recordings that I've listened to. And it's true, and I'm greatly enjoying the opportunity to watch the drummer here. But I want to make clear again that it's not simply because I can visually see, therefore the drums stand out more to me. No, it's the sound that I'm listening to. And I commented earlier how even when it's focused on somebody else, I'm really much more strongly aware of the drums in this recording. And that's a positive comment. It's not a negative in this case. I guess, as I'm thinking back to the Dire Straits stuff that I've listened to, I guess the thing that has always stood out to me most, for the most part, I'd have to go back and review each one that I've listened to. But for the most part, when I think of Dire Straits, I think of the voice and the guitar, which, of course, is Mark Knopfler, right? But it's interesting to me that in this performance, I am so much more aware and so much more appreciative of the drums and the role they're playing. And now, as we're coming to this place here where he's doing that cool articulation technique on the guitar, I am again aware of not only that really interesting and nice musical effect there, but I'm also very strongly aware of how what he's doing with that kind of staccato type. Is that what you call hammer-ons, hammer-offs, something? Or is this a different technique? I don't know. Anyway, I'm ignorant about those things. And I don't know enough of the technical terminology for the different sounds yet. I mean, I've heard them, I've read them as you're talking about them on the channel, on the Patreon community, but I don't know it enough because I don't play the instrument and I haven't spent enough time with the instrument to really identify a technical term with a sonic result yet. But anyway, that aside, I'm hyper aware in this performance of how what he's doing with his guitar there is so beautifully set up by the drums. And it coordinates with the drums. It becomes a blend of percussive and melodic roles. At the same time, of course, he's the lead voice at that point, so it's kind of a solo moment as well for him. But it was all set up by the drums. Let's back up and listen to this here. Okay, so nice little bit. So here we can see the drums. That's all nice, and I enjoy. I like. Okay, first thing I noticed was the way he's singing this verse.
He says at last this is the
More
time
rhythmic.
bell rings. Saying you good night, now it's time to go home.
And you hear the drums.
Maybe make it fast with just one more
They're
thing.
setting us up. We get to see them again here. That's nice.
We are the Sultans. Yeah, we are the Sultans.
We are the Sultans of Swing.
That's right.
A little bit of drum fills there. Now notice how when he starts doing this up here, that's from the drums. We're focused on the guitar, but you hear the drums there? Here. It's so nice. And the bass there. Okay, we've got more. Back and forth between them. As I said, it's the whole band. One creature. Here comes that singing guitar again. Straight to the piano. And then they are so together, so whole as a group, that they have, in fact, made the entire room one. And you hear it in how incredibly together the audience is in their clapping. That clapping becomes part of the ensemble. And you hear how the drums are playing with the idea of the audience as part of the percussion, the ensemble's percussion. The magical thing here, the incredible thing, is that this is not... Okay, I'll talk afterwards. Okay. That's one of those performances you don't want it to end. And they pulled it out as long as they could keep it going without completely overdoing it. And I'm glad they did, because it was so beautiful as I've been saying, from so many different angles. It's such a beautiful performance. It's funny. Okay, it's a nice enough little song, kind of cute, kind of humorous, fun. And I talked about, the lyrics and stuff, and I did my first listen a while back. That link is right here. But for me, this performance was really not about that at all. It was not about the lyrics or anything to do with what's being sung. It's about the performance itself. This performance kind of rises above everything else and grows into this incredible wonder. And all right, let me go back to what I was starting to say as the crowd was clapping and they were continuing on with their slow, subdued section there. So the incredibly impressive thing about that portion of the music, many times when I have seen a crowd get really involved in a band's performance, It's when the music has a strong beat and is more energetic and stronger, livelier, upbeat, high energy music. And that's what gets the crowd involved, and they keep it up for a while. I guess I've also seen a couple where the crowd is singing along the lyrics in a more ballad style piece of music. But this moment was so incredibly impressive to me as a musician, because the crowd was perfectly in sync. As I said, they became a part of the ensemble. Suddenly, the entire audience was one with this creature that is the band on stage, right? And they were perfectly in sync. They were serving a percussive role. You could hear the drums utilizing that clapping as part of the percussive fabric of the piece. And you could hear the guitars and the keyboards playing off of that percussive foundation. Now, what's so incredible about it is that it was a slow-paced, gentle, subdued, kind of still water portion of the piece. I'm a music teacher and I'm a musician. And I know the incredible temptation, how strong the temptation is in a placid, gentle, reflective part of the music that you're playing, to get nervous about whether the audience is perhaps bored. Is the audience still listening on these long notes? Am I holding their attention, or should I speed it up just a little bit? Should I get out of this a little bit quicker? It's a temptation that so many inexperienced and even experienced musicians succumb to. But more than that, just think of the fact that this audience is not an audience of musicians. This audience is there to hear the musicians. And suddenly they are holding this incredibly tight, precise pulse together, the entire room. And the band itself is not coaching them through it. Meaning the band is not saying, here's where the beat is. And let me show you where the next beat comes. Let me keep you together. As a contrast, let me mention Queen, and specifically Freddie Mercury, and the way I've commented about how he gets the crowd engaged. He's very active and dynamic, and he pulls them in, and they have to respond. But he is there coaching them through every bit of it. And the band is there holding them together. Here, the band was relying on the crowd to hold their own and be a part of this one creature that is the band. That is the incredible power of such oneness in an ensemble. That is what I find so incredibly impressive. And that is why, as I'm sitting here saying, what a thing of beauty, what a thing of wonder this performance is and this band is. I'm not saying that just to throw out, nice comments and superlatives. It is the truth of how I see it and what I think about it. It's an incredible performance. And those are some of the reasons that stand out to me as what makes it so amazing. What a nice experience this has been. And yes, well, I don't know exactly who holds this as among the top live performances, but as I said, I'm not qualified to judge because I don't know all the live performances, but I know that this performance is outstanding. So that was my first time hearing, not Dire Straits, not Sultans of Swing, but my first time hearing this live Alchemy version from 1983. I enjoyed it immensely. I will be listening to it in the future, and I'm looking forward to whatever it is that comes in front of me next time. I'll see you soon.